What's up? This is Vince Carter. You're listening to 3 Point Conversion. Check it out.
Now you look at today, what we're dealing with. I mean, George Floyd, what happened with him, his killing, of course, by cops. And then, of course, Ahmed, Aubrey. With you having a platform that you have, even myself and all of us that do have the platforms, what can we do? What is the best way to go about this?
So I wrote a book called We Matter: Athletes and Activism. And in my book, I interviewed a lot of different athletes, from yesteryear and now. I interviewed Bill Russell and Kareem and John Carlos and Craig Hodges and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. And then from now, I interviewed like Eric Reed and, Russell Westbrook and Dwayne Wade and all those guys too. So, but I also interviewed family members of the victims of police brutality. So I interviewed like Eric Garner's daughter, Emerald, and Trayvon Martin's brother, Javaris, and Terrence Crutcher's sister, Tiffany Crutcher, and Valerie Castile, who's Philando Castile's mother. And I started doing work with them, in particular, to tackle this issue of police brutality. I did a lot of work with Sabrina Fulton, and Trayvon Martin's mom. And, they're running for, political positions in their respective cities. And you're seeing that a lot. But one of the things that really inspired me a lot was, in particular, Tiffany Crutcher. And so if you don't remember what happened, her brother, Terrence Crutcher, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, his car was pulled over to the side of the road and it was broken down. It wasn't working. And a policeman came up to him and he thought that the policeman was coming to help him, because his car had been broken down. He's like, oh, okay, cool. The police is here to help me. But they were like, get your hands up, everything like that. He was like, whoa, what's going on? He wasn't the suspect in anything. He didn't do anything wrong. There was no guns. There was no weapon. There was no that's the scenario. Helicopter came. They had him on tape, kind of saying he looks like a bad dude. Be careful. Proceed with caution, type thing. And the police officer, Betty Shelby, ended up killing him. Right. So Tiffany Crutcher has had this passion to really change the way that the police operate. And so what she says, and this is, something that I really, to answer, and this is a long way of answering your question. What she says from doing all of the work that we've been doing together, she says that you cannot change somebody's heart. You cannot legislate their heart. You can give them sensitivity training, all that other stuff. You can't change their heart. What you have to do is change the laws so that even if their heart isn't right, they can't act on their bias or their racism or their anger or their hatred. So she has been pushing to make the laws different, to where, like, say, for instance, a police officer has to show probable cause of rendering their firearm. You know what I mean? Like, they can't just say, I was in fear for my life, and that be it. Because that's what Betty Shelby did. Officer Betty Shelby, she was on the stand. Every time they said something, they were like, well, did he show a gun? Did he show this? She was like, well, I was in fear for my life. She just kept repeating the phrase. And so she's pushing to where a police officer has to actually show an actual immediate threat to justify them using their firearm. Now that changes everything. You know what I mean? Right. Also, like Emerald Garner, the chokehold that the officer Daniel Pantaleo used to choke her father to death, she's pushing to have it outlawed all throughout the state of New York. So she's doing the same thing. So those really, we have to hold police accountable, and we have to change the laws. Those are the things. Like, and I have to agree with them. And doing all this work, and we've done all these different programs and everything like that. You can't change people's heart. You can't. Yeah. That's not going to work. You know what I mean? If they have that bias, if they look at you or me and they're afraid, and that's just what happens. I mean, you can't change that.